When you want to relay information to somebody, much like a story, it kind of becomes with a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's an order to what you want to say. And within your social posts, within your ads, within your presentations, there's going to be things that you want to relay first and then bring them through the rest of the information. And this is where hierarchy in your designs really comes into play. And with Canva, the simple way to do that is to play with colors and with fonts and with sizes to ensure that you lead them through. It's about taking a real active approach and thinking about, at first I want them to see this, then I want them to see this, then I want them to see this. So thinking about the flow of what information you want them to see and then using hierarchy to do so. So specifically, if we look at this design here, it's just 3 pieces of text, 1, 2, and 3. And we'll say that this is the title that I want them to kind of hook them in with. They might like this series. This is the subtitle, a little bit more information, and then finally the actual content. So that would be the hierarchy, that'd be the flow I want them to do, but unfortunately it's currently just all flat. Reader doesn't know where to look. If anything, they're probably actually going to look at the body because it's the bigger piece of text. It's the only thing that's different. So if we think of it from a hierarchy standpoint, the simplest way would just be larger and bolder from big to small. So let's take a look at how that would look. Let's take a copy to make sure we keep it and do a comparison. So immediately, like we just increased the size, and what's the first thing now when you look at this design? Where do you look first? Just immediately, like we clue right in. So secondly, let's bring this up. Well, what I'd suggest here is if we don't want to compete too much with that, so we could just reduce the thickness of it. So if we go to, this is Open Sans, and do that there. So just reduce it. So immediately, 1, 2, very clear. Now this is still competing because it's fairly thick. So let's try to put that as Open Sans and maybe even a little bit smaller. So how simple that generally was, that just by increasing the size and controlling it, I want you to read this first. So it's just the biggest and boldest and most obvious. And then this, and then this. We've controlled the flow of it, 1, 2, 3. In addition, you want to really keep pumping that up. You can consider going with colors where this one, you make that an orange. It's the only color on the screen. It pops. It's interesting. It's notable. You could do the same with adding an element behind it. So something different or visual, something to really punch it out compared to the rest. Let's put that here. Send it back. Tell you what, let's make this white. And then we'll make this gray, that same orange. So how prominent, like that just yells at us first that this is the thing you have to read first. And then this is secondary because it's the second biggest, and then lastly. So whenever you've put the information, if you're thinking about this is a story that I want to tell to the people. So here's how it's going to flow. Now this might also exist with elements within your design as well that you want to focus. And if you just have 4 items, nothing really stands out compared to the next. And you've probably seen this on some sites with pricing, where the best deal or the most popular one, they try to call out and show what's the biggest one. So what's some ways to do that? 4 squares, how can we call out one element compared to the rest? Well, simply through changing the color, immediately one stands out compared to the rest. So that's called isolation, in that if you have a flow, if you have everything kind of the same except for one, the fact that that one is different means that's where the eye's drawn. Why is this out of order compared to the rest? So you can use that to draw people's attention in to the area that you want. So if this is like the, again, this is the best pricing, that's what you want people to really go with. You could do it by adding a shadow. So again, they just that one different element. So everything else is flat and it's just sitting on top of it's just sitting flatly against the back of your canvas, but this is one is raised up for some reason. Like why is that? You'll take note of it. You'll notice it. And even too, if you take that further, you could increase the size. So it just gains this extra prominence. It's bigger. It's out of place. It's definitely raised up. What's up with that one? Why is that different? Calling their eye and then controlling the flow. That's where people will look first, and you can use that to best align your design and the message you're trying to get across. Some examples here just right from Canva, which you can clearly see. So great photo of a beautiful dog, but immediately the first thing you see as far as the text is summer pet picnic. So that's the information that's relayed, and that's what this is about. I have a pet picnic coming up and I want you to come to it. So that's what I want to relay. Are you interested in that? And then from there, we kind of see it's like, oh, it's your best vets and a celebration. So a bit more information afterwards. But as drawn in first to that first piece of sentence, that's what this is about. Hierarchy, it's the biggest, it's a different color, it's first. The same thing too. There's only really two pieces of information here, but this is what this thing is. It is a big party, it's about the game, and then the sub information. This is the secondary information. Again, you can imagine, let's grab this text. I'll delete that. Let's delete that. And just imagine if, as part of our design, there. Nothing is different from one another. It's all just kind of blending together. There's no hierarchy. I don't know what is first. Everything's competing with everything. You compare that to what was done here, where it's a big, bold title. This is about the game watch party. This is the secondary information if this first thing interests you. Hierarchy, flow, right? As opposed to just, here's everything, sort it out yourselves. So a bit of a minor tip that can really help as you're laying out your design or you're trying to find ways to improve it and take it to that next level as far as thinking about the person who's going to be looking at it and what you would want to explain to them first, second, third, and then using hierarchy, a visual hierarchy, to lead them through that flow. We'll see you in the next lesson.